Keep on the list. Crusher and Tony Hansen head to the ring for the opening match of the night. The big man's debut. Let's see what he's got. Friday night, April 29th, Bird Brawl 15. Cody Hansen goes down in history. My brother won it twice, I'm winning this one. I'm going to set the record for the most eliminations in PWX Bird Brawl history. So come to the show next Friday night and watch Cody Hansen take his rightful place at the top of the PWX card.
You heard it there, folks. He's coming. He is coming. Our guest, from body slams and wrist locks to eBay entrepreneur.
What's up, everyone?
How's it going?
Good, man. I appreciate you having me here.
I appreciate you coming in.
My bad. I think my thing might be running in the background there, Paul.
I think so too.
All right. Turned it off. My bad.
Cool.
Had to make sure I got that thumbs up in. So if you guys haven't thrown a thumbs up there for Paul, go ahead and throw it in there.
Yeah, so had to do some searching for those clips.
Yeah, those are like way old out of the archives.
Really?
Yeah, those are like when I first started. That was where I actually got trained. That it's almost kind of like a pavilion of sorts where they used to hold those matches over in McKeesport, Pennsylvania.
Wow. So the guy in the audience that was yelling at you, was he saying that he didn't get his eBay shipment yet, or what was going on with that?
Yeah, he was trying to file an INAD, and I basically told him that he was beat and he's not getting his money back.
So I got to ask, is when you were wrestling, because if everybody doesn't know, this is Anthony, Pittsburgh. I will say hi to everybody, but a question just came up in my mind that I want to ask before I forget it. Was the future Mrs. Anthony in the audience at this time, or was she already married?
That clip that you were watching, she was filming on one of those like old school flip cameras. I don't know if you remember them. They're like these cameras that were shaped like this, but then they had a USB port that would flip out the side.
Oh,
so
yes,
like literally, that's her standing in the audience on a little flip camera filming that.
Oh, wow. Wow. So you were married already, or
no? We were just dating and engaged. Like she refused to marry me until I retired.
Really?
She saw what I was doing to my body, and she was like worried that I was gonna like get crippled and stuff, which I came close to.
I often tell my wife, because I told you earlier that a buddy of mine and myself wanted to do it, and we used to work out every day, at least 4 hours a day. And I said, wow, if we ever did that and kept going, I probably wouldn't be able to walk today. These guys put their bodies, then you put it, even the stuff you were just doing there at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It is amazing. But hey, let's say hi to a few people.
Absolutely.
We got Adam's Exploits in the house.
Hey, Adam.
How's it going, Adam?
Appreciate that, Adam.
Mick's in the house. Why you gotta hate, Mick? Why you gotta hate?
Mick said it was fake.
Yeah. Mick's
I got a chiropractor that begs to differ. I see him 3 times a week. I sometimes see him more than I host my own morning show.
I just went to mine today. I want to see if he can help me out. Even though I did a nerve block, I want to see if he can help. Plus, my wife's hip's been bothering her. Hello, Janet. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, Janet.
Hey, Dolly.
Dolly.
Melissa Cape's in the house. Hi, Melissa. Mick is all over the chat today. I don't know, Mick. Would you want to get into the ring with Anthony and battle it out a little? I
don't know what would be worse, getting like squashed by me or having to touch me whenever I'm all sweaty in spandex. Both of which are pretty frightening.
Remember when Ted Koppel asked Dr. Death if wrestling was fake and he slapped him in the face and almost knocked him out?
Yep. Is that fake to you?
Yeah. Uncle Bees, how you doing, Uncle Bees? Hey, Victor, am I buying anything today? I don't know. I'm not selling anything right now. Hello, Penny Day. How are you? Thanks for coming over. Oh, yeah, she just reminded me. She's on the Facebook side. Anyone on the Facebook side, come over to YouTube and chime in on the chat and meet somebody. Mingle a little. Network. Hey, Jerry, Wolf Toy 13. How's the move going? Jerry moved homes. Bought a nice new home in Florida.
Nice. Wish I could say the same.
Hi, Nikki.
Nikki T.
Bonnie Zimlich.
Hey, Bonnie.
Thanks for visiting. We like visitors. Definitely. There's Dolls. Dolly again. No, I am on my phone, says Penny. So, yeah, probably just came back from the grocery store shopping, and the money I saved enabled me to buy a 12 of Beck's. I guess Beck's is beer.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Is Beck's the non-alcoholic kind, or is that like the alcoholic one?
I don't know. That's how much I drink beer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
And Jerry says the move is done now. Settling.
The German beer, he says.
It's a German beer. What's the matter? Don't you like the American?
Oh, Dole's is the non-alcoholic kind.
Okay.
Doyle rules.
And Dolly's even working on her rental house. She's trying to get it ready.
That's awesome. Where's your rental house at, Dolly?
I believe she's in Ohio. I forget the name of the place in Ohio.
That's cool.
But she's got. I told her to look at some the realtor flipping sites on Facebook that they're always posting the people that do flips and stuff to see if she could get a contractor that would do some work wholesale, if you promise to give him more work, because she's got like 3 rental homes, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, she's from home of the king, LeBron James. It's awesome.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I don't really know
where LeBron's from.
Don't know who LeBron James is, but that's okay.
Oh, you have to know. Are you messing with me?
I've heard the name.
Obviously, everybody has to know who LeBron is. I feel like he's like almost to the Michael Jordan level of.
He's basketball, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I figured he wasn't hockey because I know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a French Canadian guy. LeBron.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for coming in. Please hit the thumbs up for us. This is our 4:00 show, Buying, Selling, and Collecting with Paul, where we talk about everything. And I think Anthony's got a great story from going from professional wrestling to online entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to talk to him about it. And if you haven't seen Anthony's channel, it's Pittsburgh. For the longest time, I guess it's one of those visual things. When you look at it, you want to say Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you look, it says, oh, Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got some cool videos that he does. He's one of these people that totes the GoPro around and does his thing. And like I keep seeing people and telling people, and a lot of you know I'm a real estate broker, and I had a lot of agents under me, and I would have to tell them, just do the damn video. If not, 6 months from now, you're going to say, I should do a video. I should do a video. And Anthony's gone into some cool places. This one place was a church rummage sale. Mm-hmm. With, was it 3 floors, 4 floors?
Yep. Yeah, it was like three levels high. It was pretty awesome.
Stuff after stuff after stuff. It was amazing. So you were a pro wrestler making the big bucks.
I wouldn't call it big bucks. I was on the independent scene. Basically, I'd come wrestle for a cheeseburger. Well, not really a cheeseburger. You might have to, give me some sides and a cold drink afterwards.
Okay, but you wanted to. Yeah,
we didn't make a whole lot. You know what I mean? If we were to go to a wrestle and make $100, that'd be like a really good payday.
No, I know because. Yeah, I
There'd
know.
be some places we'd go and we'd go out there, have a hardcore match, so crazy of a match I could barely walk the next day, and the guy'd be like, "Here, gate was light. Here's $5." It's like, are you serious, bro? Like, wow. You know what I just did for that $5?
Right, not even enough gas money to get home.
Exactly.
But that's in hopes of getting into the big leagues.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the big thing is just getting in front of people, you know what I mean? And it's sort of the same thing with YouTube. You want to get out in front of people. You want to make a name for yourself. And that's what you do at wrestling, too. That's how you get noticed and everything like that. You just go and wrestle in front of as many people as possible. And that's how you rise through the ranks and get noticed nationally and stuff like that. So
what did you do before wrestling?
What did I do before wrestling? I was working in a cubicle whenever I started training. So literally, I worked in a cubicle. That's what I did. I was admissions director for the Art Institute, which was I actually graduated from the Art Institute with an associate's degree back in 2005. So they actually reached out to me and offered me a job just because I was an alumni, and basically it was to try to get other people to come to the school because of how awesome the school is, which whatever, you know what I mean? I was essentially trying to get people into school so that I'd get a portion of whatever, it's kind of like a sales job.
Right.
So I was doing that. And the guy who was not my supervisor, but his lackey type guy. I don't know. He wasn't an assistant manager or anything like that, but he was the go-to guy on our team. He was the announcer for the organization that you just saw in that video that was in McKeesport, Pennsylvania. So he started talking to me about wrestling, and growing up, I either wanted to be a Steeler or I wanted to be Hulk Hogan. And I got no recruits coming out of high school. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to have to go the Hulk Hogan route. So when I found out there was a place in Pittsburgh that trained people to wrestle, I was like, heck yeah, sign me up for that. So I ended up going, and it was sanctioned through the NWA. The guy who wrestled me actually ended up becoming my tag team partner. You saw him in the video there, but his name's Crusher Hansen, and at the time he was the NWA's national heavyweight champion. which was like a pretty prestigious title in the NWA at the time. So, like I was like starstruck. I was like, oh man, that's awesome. I'm like meeting somebody that's holding a belt that Dusty Rhodes held, that Ric Flair held, like all that stuff. So then I started training with him, and eventually, towards the end of my training, he started bringing me to the ring with him as like a bodyguard type gimmick. And people just like started, the crowd actually started saying that I was his little brother because people were trying to figure out who I was. So that's kind of how I became Tony Hansen. The crowd kind of like named me that because they thought I was his brother.
So while this training and these nighttime wrestling gigs were going on, were you still during the day working at the Art Institute?
Yep. So the entire time I was working at the Art Institute. After I, wrestled for a while, the awesome thing, well, I mean, it's not awesome, but for me, it was awesome. I got laid off from the Art Institute, and for an entire year, I literally just got to travel and wrestle and like basically collect unemployment or whatever because of it. So,
wow.
Not that it's like the greatest thing, but it allowed me to kind of raise in the ranks because I didn't have to worry as much about like a 9-to-5 job. And it allowed me to take opportunities that normally I wouldn't be able to because I would have to basically stay tied to a 9-to-5 job throughout the week. So
how many nights a week did you wrestle?
It would just depend. If I had a full-time job, 2 or 3.
Okay.
If I didn't have a full-time job, could have been 4 or 5, just depending on how many different towns I would travel to.
And how long did you do the wrestling gig for?
See, I started in 2008 and I retired in 2000. So I wrestled for a total of 4.5 years before I retired. But I trained for a good year before that too. So, so about 4.5 years of in-ring action before I had to retire.
And how come you retired?
I broke my back in a match, and because we were in line for a lot of tag team title pushes in a couple different territories, I just kept wrestling with my back broken. And after about a year and a half, like I literally could barely walk anymore. It was so bad. Like I'd go to like grapple somebody in the ring and I would just like collapse because my legs would give out underneath me. Wow. So it pretty much got to the point where the doctor's pretty much like, you're either done or you're going to be in a wheelchair. Like it got to that point. I had to wear like a turtle shell looking back brace for 6 months. And like life was just like miserable for, a long time because of that. Because like I got to the point where a lot of people were basically saying, oh, this guy's going to be going to the WWE. This guy's going to be doing this. Like a lot of, magazines and people would be writing articles like this is the fastest rising big man we've seen since, blah, blah, blah. And, out of nowhere, it was just like all ripped away.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so when you broke your back
mm-hmm.
and you had to retire, at that point, were you married already?
No, I was married when I retired. But when I broke my back, we were still engaged.
And she stuck with you through all everything. So that's really nice.
Yeah.
Wow. So you had to retire. And is that when you picked up online reselling?
Yes and no. The very next job I had whenever I retired was at a call center. And the guy who sat next to me in a cubicle was a guy who, it's a long story, but he ended up inviting me to church with him one day. I ended up giving my life to the Lord, whole long story. Eventually, I ended up leaving the call center I was at, and I went and worked for him for a summer. And he worked like doing eBay full time, kind of like I do now. So for an entire summer, basically, I was in charge of, listing, packing, shipping, doing his flea market business, and all kinds of stuff. So like basically everything that I do now on a regular basis, I was doing for him back then. The thing I didn't know back then is that if I, would just start selling stuff, I'd be able to make enough money to do what he was doing. You know what I mean? Like back then I was thinking, oh, I need to have like a couple $1,000s to get into what this guy does. I didn't realize that I could literally just start listing stuff in my house and buying stuff with the profits. So that's what I ended up doing years later. Because me and my wife, we actually we started a church in our hometown in 2014. And it just closed last year whenever I started reselling full time. And just as a fallback, like, you know, because I didn't have another job lined up or anything. And with like the issues I have from breaking my back and stuff like that, like I can't really like have a job where I'm on my feet, or if I'm sitting too long, I can't really do that. So I need to be like flexible. So I just started going to the flea market, selling stuff and doing that like after the church closed. And then once it started getting cold in Pittsburgh, I just started selling on eBay again. And like I thought it was just going to be something to get money right then and there, but then it just became something where I was like, wow, this is like something I could do for work, and I could work at my own pace, and I won't have to have a boss, you know, barking down my neck or any of those things. I can just kind of, you know, do what I enjoy, what I'm passionate about. And then a little while later, you know, I was watching YouTube and I heard a guy say, you know, well, you're literally doing the exact same thing I'm doing. The only thing I do is I turn on a camera. And I was like, yeah, that's true. Like, you know, then it made me think, well, I could probably turn on a camera and start making videos myself. So it's kind of.
Oh, damn, if you can stand there in tights in an arena full of people.
Exactly.
You can do a camera. You could take some video, man.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling everybody that's not what you have to do, but you know, just don't be a wallflower. You don't have to be if you don't want to. Just put the camera on and then go back and look at those original ones 6 months later and say, oh, wow, was that odd? Was that bad?
And that's the best part, is because no matter what I do, when I turn on the camera, it's not going to be as bad as that. And I still thank God that I'm blind as a bat without my glasses. So like I couldn't see the people looking at me in my spandex. They just look like a blur of humanity.
Oh wow. So now are you retired? Are you retired disabled or?
No, I mean technically no. I you know, I work for myself. I pay taxes, and you know what I mean? Like I have an LLC, so I could, if I wanted to, like, you know, do the whole disability thing and all that. But just for me, like I feel better about myself working for, you know, what we have and stuff like that. Right. So like nothing against anybody that's on disability, because like, you know, full transparency, like whenever I, you know, first got hurt and like, you know, everything went down, I tried getting on disability several times, and they just kept denying me because of my age. So
yeah, I can't. I mean, I tried to do it too because of what's going on with me, and I did some research, and I said, why do you need an attorney to file for disability? And they said because they deny 80% of the files. And I said, well, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? If you give them proof and everything, that's just what they do. So an attorney fights for you, and they challenge what they need to. It's ridiculous, but it's crazy. So are you taking medication for the pain and stuff?
Yeah, I take it's called Mobic. It's kind of like a ibuprofen, only it's like supposed to be longer lasting. So I take that twice a day. And I take gabapentin for nerve damage, but they're taking me off of that.
Hate gabapentin. I took gabapentin the first time. I gained 10 pounds in a week.
Yeah, so they're taking me off of that in the next couple months, but I've been on that for like 12 years. I was on opioids for a long time. You know, basically to function was basically opioids and alcohol for like years. And then, you know, like I got off the opioids and everything like that. Like it wasn't like, you know, it was basically just pain management, but
exactly.
You know, and to keep doing that to your body, especially once it's like so hurt already, you know, so, What's up, Steve? Good to see you, man.
Is that Judgment Care?
Yeah, Judgment Care.
Hello, Judgment Care. And who else came? Two hip chicks came in. If I missed anybody, thanks for coming in. We're talking to Anthony Pittsburgh, who I guess midlife started a career in wrestling. So I wanted to start there and get into his life now as an online entrepreneur. And basically, I guess from what you're telling me or us, it was trial by fire.
Pretty much. That's pretty much my whole life.
Yeah, you started doing this guy's shipping and packing and listing and everything, and I could be doing this myself.
Yep. And I didn't even realize that till years later. And just from basically cleaning out our house, like we were living in a women's recovery home for a year and a half, I think. My wife and I ran one here in Pittsburgh. And so we were renting out our house with like literally all of our possessions in it, like stored in the basement. So when we moved back in, I literally just started taking all of the stuff that we didn't need, that we hadn't used in a year and a half. I just started selling it. And that was kind of how I built up the bankroll to, start doing eBay full time.
Well, so now you're an online entrepreneur, let's call it, and you're doing eBay.
Yep.
And I listened to the show, and if anybody doesn't know, Anthony does a show with Nate, and we're going to have Nate on here one day also. And they do a show, and this is just a funny thing that I did. All right. This is not their definite logo. Their logo, but these are not the way they look. They were talking this morning, something about, I put in there, Nate needs to dreadlock his beard or something. And then I just whipped that thing up quick, and I said, well, I got to be equal opportunity beard. So I gave Anthony a braided beard also. But they're on at 10 a.m., right?
Yep, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. It's either on my channel or on Nate's channel. Tomorrow it'll be on mine.
Yep, and Nate is Every Day I'm Hustling. So I gotta get in touch with Nate and get him on one of these days also. And I am looking for guests to come on. So if anybody's interested, Monday through Friday, 4:00. But they talk about everything, reselling, and a lot of the hype lately. I know a lot of you people looking at is the cards.
Yeah.
Nate went nuts on those cards. You guys even got me looking at Walmart when I
Yep. Definitely. They've been hot lately, especially the basketball cards. So basically any basketball cards you guys can find out there, you can easily get 3 to 4 times your investment sealed.
Yeah, that's crazy. But hey, that's, it's the same thing with action figures. Like I do a lot of action figures. You get that one per box, which is the rare one, and that's the one everybody wants. And but yeah, you get one card. Nate said he got, a Zion card that's $150 out of a $3 pack or a $5 pack. That's a hefty ROI on that.
Definitely. Absolutely.
So you're doing eBay, and I hear you on the show. I think you're doing a little Etsy or Mercari. Did I hear that right?
Mercari, yeah. Yeah, I do eBay. I do Mercari. I do Amazon. I do a little bit of Poshmark, but honestly, like I've been really laying off the Posh a lot lately, just because it's a little too much for me just to have to juggle so many things. And honestly, it only really leads to like 1 or 2 extra sales a month, because the stuff normally sells faster on, the stuff I sell at least sells faster on eBay and Mercari.
Okay. So, but do you dabble into Amazon?
I do, yeah.
Okay. And Amazon FBA, and hello, Adam and Nikki and everybody. Are you doing Amazon FBA or just? I'm
actually doing FBA and FBM. I haven't sent anything FBA probably since before the pandemic, to be honest with you. I also have stuff in Amazon Canada too, which I took my wife on a romantic weekend to Niagara Falls for Valentine's Day, with the intent of stopping by Amazon's warehouse in Canada, because I knew that they don't gate people in DVDs and media out there. So I dropped off like a gigantic box, just like stacked full of like Blu-rays, DVDs, like all kinds of stuff that I'm gated in America.
I didn't know you could do that. See, we, on the way to the airport here in Orlando, they built an enormous warehouse. You could probably put 10 Walmart supercenters in there. but you still can't drop off. Because I would love that. I would love to take the boxes and just go to the loading dock and say, here's my shipment, label and everything's on there. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if you're gated in certain things that if you're not in Canada, I don't know why that's happening. I didn't know you could do that.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, you can definitely sell in any marketplace too. The big thing is though, they don't cover the difference in shipping like they do if you ship, like, say, to somewhere in America where they give you their like really discounted rate. You're basically going through like UPS or FedEx International, and at that point it's super expensive if you're shipping yourself. So for me it was like, well, if I'm already going to have to take my wife somewhere for a weekend anyway, I might as well be able to at least drop off some Amazon inventory.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't been to Niagara Falls in, man, maybe 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And back then it was very cool.
Yeah, it's very nice out there. There's a lot to do now.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
We went like right before COVID too, and it was like really cold and a lot of stuff was shut down. There's still a good bit of stuff to do.
There's still like the Ripley's Believe It or Not and all that stuff. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
That's
up on Clifton Hill.
I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I think it might even be more than 30 years ago because my son's going to be 38, I think, this year. Ooh, damn. So yeah, it might even be more than that. But so they actually let you drop it off in Canada.
Yep. I actually called before we left to make sure I could do it too, because I know that Nate was telling me that here in Pennsylvania you're not allowed to do that. So I made sure I called before we even planned to leave, and they were like, "Yeah, you can bring it on over." So I said, "Cool."
So when you're on your Amazon seller page, Seller Central, it shows also the items you have FBA in the Canada warehouse too?
You have to, there's like a drop down up top where it'll have like your store name, and it'll be like Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.mx, like depending on what marketplaces you have. So if I want to go to my Canadian inventory, I just have to go to the drop down and switch it from Amazon.com to Amazon.ca for the Canadian side.
Oh, wow. Now, do you still sell stuff there?
Yeah. I mean, I actually just had a DVD sell earlier today.
Wow. And do will you still ship stuff to there to sell? FBA?
Maybe not. It would depend. I'd have to get some really good inventory. Like today, I was one of the things I picked up yesterday from my video that released today was a DVD set. It was like the complete set of the show Angel, like the spinoff of Buffy.
Yep.
And it's listed on Amazon for like over $100. Super good sell through. So I was like, man, I should probably just like merch fulfill that and pay the simple export rate to ship that to Canada. You know what I mean? It'd still make considerably more. Like I think right now I have it listed on eBay for $57.
Wow.
So like it would be at least a double up from eBay. And then plus if it doesn't sell, then I'll just sell it on eBay.
Wow. Yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool. Wow. I didn't know you could do that on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
It took me forever to get ungated in toys. Mm-hmm. It took the first time it took me 3 months, and then I sent some in, and then I didn't send any in for a while, and I had to get ungated again, and it took me a week.
Yeah.
I like the way they do it, but I hate that they still make you jump through hoops to sell stuff on their site.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not somebody that has thousands of items up on Amazon like some of these big players are.
Yeah, I'm not either. Like compared to a lot of guys that do Amazon, like even compared to Nate, like Nate kills the game at Amazon, like completely like does awesome. Like I'm small peanuts compared to what he does on Amazon.
Yep.
Because like eBay and Macari, it's still kind of my primary platform. That's where a lot of my focus goes. But by the same point, like I like being able to do Amazon for different types of products, and I like that every couple weeks Amazon's like, oh look, I just got paid. It's like getting a paycheck, you know what I mean? So
Right.
I like that about Amazon, but I really still am in love with like the treasure hunting aspect of eBay and Macari and stuff like that.
Right.
You can't sell that stuff on Amazon, but again, a lot of the stuff that like I like to sell or like you like to sell, you have to get ungated to be able to sell it.
Right.
So it's just a little bit more difficult.
Exactly. And it's not easy. And these like I forget what his name is in Oregon, him and his wife. He talks every once in a while. I haven't seen him do a live video in a while, but he talks about sending in the combo DVD, VCR players, recorders to Amazon. And he talks a lot about selling used merchandise on Amazon. And I don't think the only thing used I've put on Amazon, well, actually a lot, is video games. But most of the other stuff is all brand new.
Have you got ungated in Nintendo yet for Amazon?
No.
That's like one of the next ones I want to get is Nintendo.
Yeah, every time I do a video game, and if it's a Mario or something like that, no, you can't sell this one. You could sell the other ones, but you can't sell this one. So I was like, okay. So I just got to find a distributor for video games that I could buy some from, and then send that in and get ungated, hopefully, and then do but I don't run into too many Nintendos that need to be ungated. I think you could do Nintendo, but when you go into the Mario and stuff like that, then you have to get ungated.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna say I've sold Wii games and
Yep.
stuff like that. I just haven't sold like any first party stuff.
Right, exactly. What do you feel? How do you feel about this new managed payment thing that eBay's doing?
You know what? I didn't like it at first, but I think it's going to be okay. Because I'm just such a creature of habit, and the reason that I think it's going to be okay is it's going to force me to like actually. I said this on the morning show, but most of the time I do a lot of business out of PayPal just because it's easy. I have a PayPal debit card. Every time I make a sale, I have instant access to funds, so I naturally try to use PayPal a lot, and I kind of use it as a crutch, whereas I should be using just for tax purposes and like business purposes, I should be using the business's bank account more so than, the PayPal account, which also is tied to the business, but you know what I mean? Like, I think it'll just be a little bit better to kind of have everything flowing through like one stream rather than two.
Right now, for the longest time, for years now, I use my PayPal as my business account. Anything I buy for inventory or for the business comes out of the PayPal. And, anything I have to pay for the business comes out of the PayPal. Anything it makes goes right into the PayPal, and I don't touch that money unless it's a business expense or I'm buying inventory for that. And then Adam has a question. What's your favorite wrestling move?
Okay, so my favorite wrestling move, I have a couple. The ones that I have actually done, I really like the choke slam and I like the splash. And those are like my two main moves. And the reason I chose those ones is because they're versatile and you can do them anywhere in the ring. Because whenever you're wrestling, you have to always be mindful of like ring position and everything like that. Like I've choke slammed people off the top rope. I've choke slammed people off the apron to the floor. Like I've chokeslammed people all over the place, and it's just very versatile. And then the splash, like I could dive off the ropes and do it. I can do it standing in front of people. I can do it running. I can do it off the apron. Like, so it's just like easy moves to do. Like anybody could pull them off. They look impactful, and regardless of positioning, you could still do them. So
Janet said that her daughter tried to break into WWE, went to training camps, and she trained with Rusev.
That's awesome.
until she tore her rotator cuff doing a clothesline. Wow.
That part's not awesome, but the fact that she was there training, that is amazing. That performance center is awesome. Like I tell my wife all the time, like I at least want to take a tour through there one day, because it was always like they didn't even have the NXT performance center or anything when I was wrestling. Like that all came after. Like I would have loved to have gone there. And the crazy thing is, like, there are people that I wrestled with and used to travel with that are like in the WWE. Like I don't know if you know who Corey Graves is.
Yeah.
He's their announcer.
Yeah.
He's from Monroeville, which is like literally right where the Benz is I go to all the time. It's like 15, 20 minutes from my house. You know what I mean? Like, so like he used to have a wrestling territory even like 10 minutes from my house that I used to wrestle for sometimes. And, you know, I used to travel with his little brother too. And it's just, it's super cool to see like people that I got to, you know, wrestle with that are making it, you know what I mean? Like Johnny Gargano's from Cleveland, which isn't too far from Pittsburgh. It's like 2 hours, and he used to come here. I used to go there, you know? So like a lot of people that are either in WWE, have been in WWE, TNA, you know, any of the other places, like obviously NWA, which is where I wrestled. You know, it's a small world, and it's awesome to see people make it, you know, that I might have started with, or, you know,
that is very
when they were little.
Last time I drove by the Performance Center, there was still about 12 of the trucks outside, you know, with all the graphics on them.
Yeah.
But then they said that they weren't going to film because like 20 of the guys came down with COVID.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So they held off. And then it's been in the news every once in a while. This one guy is a stalker they keep having a problem with. He goes there, slams on everything, and threatens the people, and he's like nuts. He gets arrested every time he goes.
Yeah. Adam, the splash is actually, it can be used in a lot of different ways. So like in the beginning of the show, he showed me like running off the ropes and coming down and like jumping on top of somebody. So that's how I used it mainly. Like that was the primary delivery, but you could do it anyway. Like say you had somebody stacked in the corner, like say this turnbuckle right here behind me. Like say I had somebody right there and I came running and I went boom and like gave him a big body splash. You can do it that way too. So there's a lot of different ways, but yeah, Andre the Giant did do the splash.
Yeah,
but he didn't do it like in a lot of different ways. He definitely did the running corner one. I know King Kong Bundy used it a lot as well.
Yep. Andre was a big dude.
Yep.
We went to breakfast with him one morning at like 1 in the morning or something. And eggs, a pound of bacon, like a half a loaf of bread. Unbelievable. Nice guy, though.
Imagine.
Really nice guy. So, do you have any problems with customs going to Canada?
No, honestly, they didn't even look at the box. Like I literally, we were in my wife's little Chrysler 200. They're like, "Hey, what are you coming into Canada for?" We're like, "We're just, you know, hanging out for Valentine's Day type thing." And they didn't even think twice. I literally just had, you know, a couple boxes in my back seat, a couple suitcases in the trunk. They said, "Okay, have fun in Canada." So we'll do.
Wow. Amazing.
So, I mean, for all they know, I could have been smuggling something, and they didn't even care.
Yeah. Wow.
I was expecting to have to like give like some kind of paperwork, like explaining everything that was inside the box, like you would if you shipped it. But no,
yeah, definitely.
I even like printed out like a detailed sheet of everything that was in the box, like from my Amazon order, just in case they like wanted to like know. And no, they never even asked.
Wow. Yeah, I remember my buddy and myself, we went to Detroit for WrestleMania 3, and we drove over the bridge into Canada. Of course, that was how many years ago? Man.
Yeah.
They gave us a little bit of a hard time. What are you going in here for? Just to look around? Look for what? What do you mean, look for what? We're here on the other side for WrestleMania. We got the day. We're going to... Mm-hmm. Well, how long are you going to be? I have no idea. So it was... But, yeah, it was kind of, you know, you got these guys with the guns and everything and pull you over, and we got in.
I probably didn't look too intimidating though, because so it's me and my wife driving, and my wife's there like bouncing around listening to Disney music, and I'm like laid back, right? Because like when we're in the car and we're traveling, my back hurts, so I'm like all reclined, and I got my leg up on the dash with a red Croc hanging out. So like how intimidating can a guy wearing a red Crocs be, you know? So this guy's like, oh man, I just need to get this fool out of here, rolling up to our border rocking some red Crocs, you know?
What are you coming in here for? What are you talking about? We're just going to film? Wow. So are you planning now, since the new world we're in,
Mm-hmm.
are you planning on expanding to any more avenues like Bonanza or any of
Yeah,
these?
honestly, like I've been meaning to get on Bonanza. Literally, the only reason I haven't is just forgetfulness, to be honest with you. I do plan on getting on there just because they automatically pull in your eBay listings. So anyone that's going to automatically make sales for me is good in my book.
But no immediate, like, I'm going to do this week. I'm going to make sure I do this week and get 5 items on this platform or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just when they come. Is that about it?
Pretty much.
So still eBay is your main source.
Yeah. eBay and Macari, like, because pretty much everything, like I use Vendu as a cross posting platform to send all of my listings from eBay to Macari.
Yeah.
So every month I send at least 125 because that's what my Vendu plan is. So I try to get as much as I can onto Macari, and Macari does really well too. So about half the month, Macari is really cooking, and then towards the end of the month, once it starts like drying up, I just throw a bunch of new stuff over, then it starts cooking again.
So when something sells on, when you use that, after you cross post, if you had 2 screens open, you could see the item on Macari and on eBay.
Well, essentially the way it works is you just go into Vendu and it'll have a little symbol next to each one of your listings based on where you have it listed. So like I'll have a little eBay, Macari, Poshmark, like their little logos next to the listing, and it'll tell me where it's at. So for me, if something sells, what I do, I'm just in the habit now because I've forgotten to do it so many times. As soon as I hear a cha-ching or something like that, I check my phone and I automatically go pull it off Macari or automatically go and pull it off of eBay.
So it doesn't do it automatically?
No, I wish it would. That would be amazing, but no, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's like Amazon. If I have, well, you know too, if we have something on Amazon that's and on eBay, if it sells on one and you only have the one, you got to remove it from the other before you sell it.
Yeah, I actually had that happen to me. I sold a Wii game on Amazon, and then it sold just 2 days ago on Macari. And I'm looking through it like, man, where the heck is this? And I'm checking eBay. I'm like, okay, well, it's not on eBay, so where the heck is it? And I ended up going through my stuff on Amazon. I'm like, yep, there it is. Like there's a listing there that says I'm out of stock, so sold it on Amazon.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's the bad thing if you ever forget and it sells and then you can't ship it to the person. That's the bad part of that. Definitely. Wow. So anybody in the audience have any questions for Anthony? I've seen a couple coming through. We've tried to hit a lot. But anybody have any questions or whatever? Like I said, I want to try to get Nate on, maybe both of them on together.
Yeah. Anytime. Let me know. I'm more flexible than him since I don't have to go do a full-time job or anything like that. But
that's right. He does a full-time job. I forgot about that. But if anybody has any questions for Anthony, put them in the chat. And so any plans this weekend for any sourcing trips?
I'm sure I will. I'm pretty sure my wife has the first half of Saturday off, so we'll probably go yard selling if I had to guess. Unless something crazy happens with COVID, that's really the only thing that'll stop us from going to yard sales and stuff. Craig wants to know, why am I a Steelers fan and a Cavs fan?
Well,
Well, it's because the city of Pittsburgh doesn't have a basketball team, so I had to latch on to the nearest one, and it just happened to be the Cavs.
now, this person must have just come in and she didn't hear when I asked the question earlier. How did your wife feel about you wrestling?
I may have mentioned that you wouldn't marry me until I retired. Or you wouldn't agree to marry me till I retired.
And Ashley, thank you for coming in. I know you're on the Facebook side, but come over to YouTube and chime in.
Yeah.
And Ashley happens to be your wife, right?
Yep.
That's cool. Oh, and Landshark says, excuses.
I'll tell you what, though, if my buddy's dad would have taken us to Philadelphia, when I was a kid, and introduced me to Sixers basketball, I probably would be a Sixers fan today. But since he took me to Cleveland and introduced me to Cavaliers basketball when I was a kid, I became a Cavs fan.
Nice. And Adam says he tested negative, getting nerve block procedure done tomorrow.
I'm glad you're negative.
Up to you, Adam.
Definitely, man. I'll definitely be praying for you.
I'm still recovering from mine. So yeah, just do what they say. Make sure you have painkillers, because my injection points hurt more than the original pain.
Yeah. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, they said it'll be like that 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm on my 3rd week. I'm halfway there.
Uncle B wants to know if I've ever performed a Hurricane Rana. No, I've never done one, but I've had people do them to me. So Hurricane Rana is like, say I would jump up, wrap my legs around your head, and do a flip and throw you on the ground. So I have taken those. I have not given those. Plus, I would probably murder somebody by throwing my booty in their face like that.
Can't imagine if you miss.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's your neck right there, and can't imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I basically stuck to like big man moves. That was kind of like my arsenal. Like, so if you'd see King Kong Bundy do it, it's a good chance that you'd see me do it.
In the video you did, I forget what they call it, when you get the guy in your back shoulders and you slam him backwards.
Samoan drop.
The Samoan drop, that's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did that very good.
Oh, well, thank you.
What move did you do? Because I know nobody asked this in the thing. And Uncle B's, we got to get you on hopefully next week. So I can tell you about the Ewok village I purchased, not to rub it in. What move did you do when you broke your back?
Okay, so I actually took 2 finishers in a row when I broke my back. So we were in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the NWA North American Tag Team Championships. And we'd been feuding for a year and a half with Excellence Personified, who were the traveling champions. And basically, since we were the much bigger team and I was the biggest guy and I was supposed to take the final fall. Well, Ash says she hated that match. Hey, that was a fun match minus the ending.
Yeah, I would say
so. Essentially, the storyline behind it was going to take both of them to be able to beat me, so that they would win. And so I took both of their finishing moves back to back. So the one guy did a super kick, which is what Shawn Michaels did. Yeah. So I had to get kicked in the chin and turn around, swing my arm up so the guy could catch me and do a rock bottom, like, he called it spotlight drop, but it's essentially what The Rock does, a rock bottom. Right. So I got kicked in the face, had to turn around into the rock bottom, and basically this was after 30 minutes. I'm like dead tired. So I take the kick to the face, let the guy catch me, throw my body in the air as high as I can get, because that's how I'm giving away the secret sauce. But the other guy perform the moves. That's how they look so good. You know what I mean? So I hurl my body in the air, and it was like literally the minute I hit, I'm just like, and like literally the minute he rolls off of me after I get pinned, all you see is me roll over and reach like right here, which is still like the worst part of my back to today. Wow. Literally my hand instantly goes there. I'm like, it was like instantly I knew. I was like, that's when I knew I screwed.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Buying Spaces, who's your favorite YouTuber to watch?
Favorite YouTuber to watch? So the people that I watch the most, I really like What the Hales. I really like Grimes Finds. I like Rev Resell a whole lot. I like this guy named Every Day I'm Hustling. He does a morning show with this really good looking guy from Pittsburgh named I think it might be Anthony. But but yeah, I mean, a lot of the people are in the chats. Like I like watching everybody in this community because I think everybody has something to offer. And my wife's down there saying coin pusher. Yeah, my wife is like What the Hell's addict right now.
I have to admit, if the people in the audience didn't see it, they had What the Hell's on, and man, was he dropping the knowledge pieces on the show. Every few minutes, he was just dropping the knowledge, and I was taking notes, and I said no. So I saved the video, and yeah, he was like, he's really into this YouTube thing and everything, and he was just saying things like, "Wow, wow, wow!" I couldn't believe it. But if you haven't seen it, definitely watch that, especially if you want to get into YouTube and stuff. And he talks about the first just getting into it, so I would watch it. How much team did you practice against the other team to make sure it happens right?
Okay, so you mean like as far as the match goes? It all depends on the guy you're wrestling and really how familiar you are with them and how anal the other guy is too. Because there's some guys I've gone to wrestle, like say a veteran that's been around for 20 plus years. Basically, you'll go up to them. Okay, we got, we're working to, you and I are working together tonight. How do you want to do this? And a lot of the veterans will just be like, follow my lead, kid. So like literally you're going out to the ring. You don't know what the heck is going on. You know what I mean? You're just reacting to the crowd. And then there's some people that, are like perfectionists that literally want every single detail to be to the T. So it's almost like you're playing ballet with them in the back, planning out the match, and then you go through all the motions, we're going to lock up and then I'm going to throw you down. Then you're going to roll, then you're going to come back and you're going to fire up and so it really just is on a match by match basis. There's some guys that are super anal about it. Like for me, all that I ever really wanted to know is how do you want to start it and how do you want to finish it? So that way I know when we're going to the finish what I need to do.
And a lot of times you work off the crowd too, right?
Exactly.
Whatever they're getting into.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Auto Grace is a wrestling fan.
Ash, why you always call me out? She's in the crowd though, and Anthony's in his glory talking about his wrestling. You know what? I could bring up your wrestling.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And then and it's very nice to know, Ashley, that you were there to comfort him when he broke his back.
Yeah.
In those nights and stuff when he has the pain that, like my wife every once in a while, once every 5 years or whatever, if I ring the bell, she'll come in and give me the coffee and the eggs and stuff.
Myra wants to know, what are the names of your pets? So we have 3 pets. We have Hunter. He's our oldest. He's a Maltese. We have Chloe, who's actually his daughter. And then we have Nala, who's our kitty, who's going to be a year old at the end of the month.
Wow. 3 doggies.
Well, the last one's a kitty. Yeah. 2 dogs and a cat.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
To tell him when he acted dumb.
And
to yell at him when he acted dumb.
Mm-hmm. Which is still happening on a daily basis, just in different ways.
So, Ashley, I got to keep pulling this up. I should just leave it up on the screen.
Now she says, which is all the time. Yeah, obviously. She knows me well.
Would this be the dumb look, Ashley? Or the surprised look? Because someone had to take this picture, Ashley. I'm sure his hands weren't reaching out in front of him, taking his own picture. But that is very cool.
What I want to know is, would I still get a kiss if I came home looking like that, babe? Probably not.
And Nate would say, "You know
it." Yeah, but I don't want a kiss from him.
So, and now, like I said, I've watched the show and in the mornings when I can and everything. And I know that you talk about her getting into it, the reselling with you also.
Mm-hmm.
Has she always been into it from the beginning?
The funny thing is, she's been super supportive the whole time. Which a lot of times I hear wives aren't like real behind their husbands going and spend hundreds of dollars on stuff that they think they can flip. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she was real cool about it the whole time. And when we started our channel, it was actually both of us in the beginning because she was out of work. She had several surgeries at the beginning of the year and the beginning of last year, because we've been going for about a year and a half now. So she had several surgeries in the beginning of the year. So for like the first, 3 to 4 months of the channel, it was literally both of us every video. So that kind of started out being both of our channel. And then she kind of healed up, went back to work, and basically works a million hours a week nursing. But lately she's been cutting back at work and working with reselling a whole lot more. She has a Macari store that she's doing really well with. She also has a Posh Closet that she does really good with as well.
That's cool.
She just like killed the game at the flea market for us on Friday. And we had like one of the worst spots in the whole place, and she still pulled out over $300 worth of profit. So I was
I saw her talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
That was very cool. I mean, I know my wife Sandy, I think she got into it more when you see something, you're buying this for $1 and all of a sudden you're selling it for 10 or 20 bucks. And I think that's like the same thing for everybody. The thrill of the hunt and to see how much it actually sells for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool though to have somebody I love it more because my wife's into it with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is really cool in that sense.
Yeah, it makes it fun. Well, our hour is up. Do you want to promote anything that's coming up? Any more premieres? Anthony does a lot of premieres.
Yeah, so pretty much what I do with the premieres is I try to do it on days I don't host Ecom and Beyond, which me and Nate switch every single day, Monday through Friday. So normally my premieres are, obviously on the weekends, but during the week they're either Tuesday and Thursday or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, depending on when I'm doing the morning show. But tomorrow morning we're having a special show where we're going to be talking all about Macari, and we have Dapper Tiger coming on with us. Awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. Perfect timing.
Yes.
So it should be very informative. So if you guys want to come out 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel, I'd appreciate anyone that wants to subscribe. And if you could throw a thumbs up for Paul too, I'd appreciate that because I appreciate you having me on, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
About wrestling.
Yeah. Well, the transition from it's like almost two opposite ends, from pro wrestling to reselling.
Yep.
And how you got there. Everybody has a journey somehow. So it was very good, very understanding for me to find out how you got there. And I appreciate you coming in. Ouch.
Yeah, man. You okay?
Yeah, I just hit the wrong button on my seat. There you go. Unfortunately, my foot was under there. So we'll have to have you on again.
Yeah, and anytime, man. I appreciate you, and I really like you, and I anytime anything I can do to help you too on the other end, just let me know.
Thank you very much. Well, everybody, thank you for spending an hour with us here this afternoon. I appreciate it. I'll be back on tomorrow at 4, maybe with another sale. I'm not sure at this point. But last question: where did you attend seminary?
I went to the Northeast Ministry School. It's in Pittsburgh.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Anthony, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, and thank you everybody for coming in, and I will see you tomorrow.
See you guys.